Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Miss Aina and to all my friends. So today our group would like to present about the legal analysis of strait transit, marine pollution and EEZ activities. So this is my group members, which is Zakaria Yusuf Ali and me Ahmad Farhami Ramlan, and another one my friend Muhammad Fauzan bin Ridwan. Okay, for the introduction, the framework of maritime law. The law of the sea established a comprehensive legal framework governing maritime zone, navigating rights, and the jurisdiction of state over maritime activities. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea 1982 UNCLOS represent the primary international instrument regulating these matters. So for this assignment, examine a legal scenario involving a foreign flag oil tanker, empty ocean cruise, navigating through an international strait, causing maritime pollution, and later conducting unauthorized energy-related activities within a coastal state exclusive economic zone, which is EEZ. For the key focus areas, transit passage right. Another one is marine pollution enforcement, EEZ jurisdiction, and last one is UNCLOS application. Next is the empty ocean cruise scenario, which is there are 4 points, which is the first scenario is transit through strait. Empty ocean cruise navigate through a narrow international strait connecting to parts of the high seas lying within territorial seas of state A and state B. For the second one is a pollution incident. Accidental discharge of oily substance during continuous transit passage due to operational failure posing serious environmental threat. And then the third one is a state response. State order the tanker to stop for inspection and enforcement action. The last one is EEZ activities. After exiting strait, tanker enters strait A, EEZ, and undertakes unauthorized energy production from sea currents. And then the next slide is about the 3 critical legal question, which is there are 3 questions. Question A, what is the legal regime governing passage through international strait? The second one question is state enforcement jurisdiction in response to maritime pollution legally justified? And then the last question is are the tanker energy production activities in state EEZ lawful? Then I proceed to the next slide. So the international strait, the legal framework. International strait used for navigating are governed by the transit passage regime under Part 3 of UNCLOS. Transit passage applies to strait connecting one part of the high seas or an EEZ to another and ensure freedom of navigation for all ships and aircraft. Unlike innocent passage, transit passage may not be suspended by coastal states. This regime balances the interest of user state in maintaining navigational freedom with the interest of coastal state in protecting their sovereignty and marine environment. And then the next slide is about transit passage and innocent passage. For the innocent passage, continuous and expeditious manners cannot be suspended by coastal state, applies to international strait, and must comply with safety and pollution regulation. For the innocent passage may be temporarily suspended, subject to more coastal state control. The third one is applies to territorial seas generally. And then the last one is must not be prejudicial to coastal states. The next slide is about the requirement for transit passage. There are 4 points, which is first point is continuous navigation. So the ship must navigate through the strait in continuous and expeditious manners without necessary stop or delay. The second point is about compliance with regulation. So vessel must comply with general accepted international regulation relating to safety at sea and pollution prevention. The third one is no threat of force. Ship must refrain from any threat or use of force against the sovereignty of coastal area. And then the last point is about respect for sea lanes. Vessels should proceed through this designated sea lane and traffic separation scheme when established. And then this next slide, I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zakaria. Thank you, Farhan. Let's continue for the coastal sovereign status. This slide is slide 8. We're discussing this slide like limited but important powers. Although international status, territorial sea or coastal status sovereign is a limit, transit-based regime, and coastal status is adopting laws related. And navigational safety, pollution control must be hampered in bird transit passages. This sovereign state and state A or an state B constituted by the international obligation allow for the interrupted navigation through the straits. Let's discuss question A. Analyzing was MTO transit lawful. This we have three. We just conclude three types like legal basis, continuous passage, and state limitation. First one, MT Ocean Crest was expressing right of the transit passage through the international straits as part of the high seas. The next one is continuous passage. As we said earlier, the tankers continuous passage through the strait without stopping, satisfying UNCLOS requirements of transit passage. And last but not least is state of limitation. This one, like state A and state B, it may not suspend it or obstruct passage passage through the strait under the transit passage regime. In conclusion, we say about this one like tanker navigation like through the state was legally protected under the UNCLOS, while coastal state retained limited regional made by experiences passage rights. Next slide is the title is marine pollution during the transit. There is many things that occur in marine, like pollution, everything like oil spills or accidents or something. Like we just and also summarize it three types, main three types. The first one is the incidents, like incidents, empty oceans, and I mentioned it like accidentally discharged oil suspension, as we said, due to the operational failure, poison, and serious threat of the marine environment of the straits. Next one is State A's response. State A ordered like the tanker to stop inspection, enforcement, and what's claimed was necessary just jurisdiction to protect marine environment. Then another one is legal tension. This creates a conflict between the right of trans-passage and the coastal states, interesting like environment protection. This slide we summarize like enforcement of jurisdiction, the general rule. There is a main general rule in flag states and premises. UNCLOS restrict that enforcement jurisdiction of the coastal states during the transit passage. Primary enforcement authorized with the flag state of the vessels, and the coastal states must be avoid action independent of the regulation through the international state, even when the pollution occur. And this thing for as you appear is like a diagram, like it's a flag state, it's primary justification, cause it states limited power, and this one is a balance. Signification again is the protection. Let's continue for the pollution related expectations. There is a pollution like he related many of things, and there's sometimes they expect or not expect. Let's see what's pollution related expectation as we said this here. The first one is serious threat. Serious threat is the coastal states may take measure where a vessel causes threatening serious marine pollution. The next one is necessary and proportion. The measure must be strictly necessary to prevent major environment damage. Last one is no unnecessary delay. Action should not result unnecessary delay to the navigation. In practice, enforcement during the transit passage is exceptional rather than the norm. The threshold intervention is highly requirement clear and serious environment threats. Those are the one of the pollution related expectations. I would like to continue question B, but just only analysis for the three main tables. After that, my member will continue. Let's continue question B and discuss what he said. Analysis was state A enforcement lawful. That's the questions goes. The first one is environmental. Actually, we summarize also this one for the answer is that we can clarify this question B. And first one is environment concern. The pollution is incidentally poses serious threats to states A marine environment, creating ligament basis from the concern. Next one is transit passage protection. There is the protection of the transit passage, like however, ordering the tanker stop during the transit passage risk is violated UNCLOS obligation to allow unpayment navigation. Strict and last one is strict necessary test. State A action will be lawfully only if strictly necessary to prevent major environment. Maybe it's harming or the proportion to the threatened. That's maybe it may be the test of necessity. For this conclusion, we summarize this earlier environment concern transit passage protection as strictly necessity tests. Is state A enforcement justification is limited. While environment protection is limited, enforcement mission must comply with the transit passage regime. Comparison with the tanker flag state will generally be preferred legal approach. That's all my part. I would like to give my member Fauzan.
The Executive Economic Zone extend and purpose. The Executive Economic Zone extend up to 200 nautical miles from the coastal state baseline, which the EEZ, the coastal state enjoy right for the purpose exploring, exploiting, conserving and managing natural resources. Okay, for the right and duties in the EEZ, coastal state right, sovereign rights over natural resources, jurisdiction over artificially island and structure, marine scientific research regulation, environmental protection and preservation, energy product from water, current and wine. For the order state right, freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, freedom to lay submarine cable and pipeline, other internationally lawful use the sea. The tanker unitorious activities, entry into EEZ, after exiting the strait, empty ocean cruise entered state as exclusive economic zone. Number 2, energy production. The tanker undertook activity related to energy production from sea currents. For number 3, no consent. The activity were conducted without obtaining consent from state A. For number 4, resources exploitation, energy production, constituency, exploitation of natural resources with state A sovereign rights. Okay, for the part analysis legality of EEZ activity, clear violation. The tanker energy production activities constitute resources exploitation with state A, EEZ. The conclusion for analysis legality of EEZ activities, state A is legally to regulate and enforce law against the tanker activities. The tanker conduct is unlawful and enforcement action by state A is fully justified. Okay, for the summary of legal finding, for A, transit passage, empty ocean cruise lawfully exit transit passage right through the international strait. For B, influence limit, state A influence during transit passage face signification legal constraints under UNCLOS. For C, EEZ violation, unitarious energy production in states EEZ clearly violates coastal states' right. The balance achieved by UNCLOS, navigation freedom, coastal protection, resources right, maritime order, environmental protection. In conclusion, this case shows how UNCLOS controls activities in different maritime zones. First, the tanker passage through the international strait was legal and protected under international law. Second, although there was pollution, state A had limit power to take action during transit passage. Finally, the energy production activities in state A, EEZ were illegal and allow state A to enforce its right. Overall, UNCLOS balance freedom of navigation with the rights of coastal states. Thank you.